Baymax, Knuckles.
So this is an unveiling of my costume this year. I am being Baymax. I decided this like last year when I saw this awesome inflatable costume online. All right, so this is the costume. The back of it is unzipped right here. Before you step in, you'll want to make sure that everything is untangled. Then I've got this shoulder strap. I'll put that one to the right. This shoulder strap, put that one to the left. I've got mine permanently tied together like that so that I don't have to do it when I get in there because they kept slipping around. These are the fans. They're just the standard orange fans on most inflatable costumes. So right here is where you put your feet, and that is around my ankle. Make sure I grab my battery packs, put one on this side and the other one on this side. I'm going to take this strap, put it up over my shoulder, and then plug in my battery pack. A lot of times I'll actually take this strap and instead of having it on my shoulder, I'll put it on the opposite shoulder, then take this strap that's on this side and put it on the other shoulder. And that tends to give me this crisscross pattern, and I find it holds on better so that these don't slip off my shoulders. If you've got them just straight up and on, they tend to slip off your shoulders. Now we'll grab the top of the costume right here and put that over my head. And if we turn around backwards, get a zipper down here. You just zip it all the way to the top. I suppose you could have somebody on the outside zip it up for you, but I found that I could get it up by myself. Now turn on the fans. So to get this fully inflated took roughly 60 seconds or so. Pretty well inflated. There's the fingers. You see in here there's a little handle in the arm over here and a handle in the arm right here. My arm barely goes in here. Like, my shoulder is up pretty high. Your hands will pretty much go onto his elbow. Here's a little window that you can look through. Don't try to go through doorways unless you have help to kind of squish you through. You can make it through, but you do risk ripping the costume or pulling off the vents on the back here. If anything, turn off one of your fans and deflate a little bit so you can get through the doorway and then reinflate once you're on the other side. But I always like to take my costumes to the next level, and that's where I decided to use a Bluetooth speaker and my phone. I went through the movie, pulled out a bunch of sound bites, and put them into a soundboard app. It's not the cheapest one out there. Most of them you can't just import your own audio files, but this one you can.
Hello, I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion. Always wait 1 hour after eating before swimming.
Now the problem with this was, first I had to mount this somewhere, so I had it mounted on top of my head, which was totally fine. It's a little bit heavy, but it works well. And then the second problem was, if I'm using this, I cannot have my arms in the suit at the same time. Plus, it's a little bit clunky to be scrolling around trying to figure out what to say. Ultimately, while this is super authentic and awesome, it really was limiting. I thought about having my brother control what I say and I just walk around and have my arms in. And then still, I can only say the things that I pulled out of the movie. That's when I had the idea to use some of my audio stuff that I have hanging around and make it so that I myself can use my voice to speak as Baymax. To do that, I can't use Bluetooth because Bluetooth has major latency issues. So like if I was talking, it would take about 100 milliseconds at the best to get to this. Most of the apps that do voice modulation don't even support a Bluetooth speaker anyway, because they know the latency is so terrible. Luckily, my iPhone still has a headphone jack, and I have this little cable that splits between a headphone out and a microphone in. You can find these cables on Amazon and they're not terribly expensive, like less than 10 bucks for 2 of them. I happen to have this little headset mic hanging around the house. At a trade show, somebody was handing out these little speakers. I bought this really cheap white hat at Walmart, put some Velcro on there and attached it. Then I ran the audio cable all the way down to the back of the hat It coils up here, and then that goes into the phone. This little speaker is not super loud, but it gets the job done, and it's got a little internal battery, so you just have to flip the switch and it turns on and it amplifies it to a decent level. So there's two apps that I recommend. One is called Voice Synth. You probably won't be able to see it on here, but it's by Neo. And this one you can really dial in a lot of different effects. So you can hear it's already started up, so it's my voice is going in through the app and out through here. While this one's pretty awesome, I ended up using another app by TC Helicon called Voice Rack Effects. Hello, I'm Baymax, your personal healthcare companion. As long as you can do an impersonation close enough to Baymax, it should work. I ended up using the Rotary speaker effect, put the reverb way down and the speed way up on this one. While this is a paid app, it's not terribly expensive. A way to make this a little bit cheaper, but you don't get the hands-freeness of the headset mic. If you just use the headphones out into a speaker, you can just use the microphone that's on the phone. So you'll have to hold it in front of your mouth. It is more prone to get feedback from the speaker inside the suit. So it does work and that's cheaper, but I do recommend getting that splitter cable and having a headset mic. Also for this costume, I highly recommend you get some cheap white shoes. Walmart sells some for like 10 bucks if you don't already have some. And you wear lighter colored clothing because the suit is a little bit transparent. Another thing you might already have on hand, but if you don't, I recommend getting one, is one of these battery packs. This will make sure that your phone has battery to last the entire night. I have this Anchor one that's pretty affordable on Amazon. It's like less than 20 bucks, I think, and does a great job. And then I've got this short USB cable that I already had on hand. Honestly, most of this stuff I already had laying around because I love technology.
Yes, I love technology, but not as much as you see. But I still love technology. Always and forever.
You're probably thinking that this is a lot of stuff to stick in your pocket, and I thought the same thing too. So I went over to Lowe's and got myself a project apron. They're 98 cents. This thing will just tie around my waist and everything gets put into the pockets right here. It looks super nerdy, but it works great. Speaker here, microphone here, cables running down right here, phone here, extra cables here. The Baymax costume requires 8 AA batteries, one for each of these battery packs. I have not done any tests to see how long these battery packs will last, but based on other inflatable costumes I have, they should last the entire night. I think I might get some window perf vinyl and stick it over the top of this just so you can't really see in very well, but I'll still be able to see out. It's just vinyl with little holes all through it, and I just need a tiny little scrap piece to stick over the top of this. The speaker that I have mounted on my hat isn't super loud, but I feel like it does a good enough job. I could switch over to another bigger speaker, but then it just makes it heavier on my head. The armholes on this costume are pretty tall. I'm about 6 feet tall, and it keeps my arms up above shoulder level. So unless you're really wanting to move your arms around, you might just keep your arms at your side while you're in here and only put your arms to the armholes when you want to move them around. It's like a full-size Baymax, probably 7 feet tall when I'm in this thing. Also, it gets pretty warm and humid in here with your breath just circulating around. Take that into consideration. You might want to bring a water bottle with you. But overall, it is a great costume. Happy Halloween, as always. Hope this wasn't horrible.
Who would like to share their feelings first?
Me.